Hello friends, so we will start with the second unit, respiration. To start with, we will have a look into what is the composition of air. What are the different kinds of gases which are in the air? Air is basically made up of 78% of nitrogen, around 21% of oxygen, and rest remaining 1% is of argon gases, other gases, and carbon dioxide is 0.03%. So we will move into the next heading. Look at this table, friends. This is the amount of gases which are being there in the inhaled and exhaled air. Inhaled air means the air which we breathe in, and exhaled air is the air which we breathe out. So the amount of oxygen in the inhaled air is 20% oxygen, and the amount of oxygen in the exhaled air is around 16%. So the remaining 4% of the oxygen is being used by the body. You can understand here. The carbon dioxide in the inhaled air is very limited in amount, whereas in the exhaled air is 4%. So the inhaled air, which is around 4% of oxygen which is being missing in the exhaled air, is being converted into carbon dioxide. The 4% which should be here is added here because the oxygen turns into carbon dioxide in the process of respiration. So the amount of nitrogen in the inhaled air is 79% and in the exhaled air is 79%. It remains the same because our body doesn't use nitrogen to any extent. Not even 1% will be utilized by the body. And with respect to the water vapor, in terms of inhaled air, it is very small amount, whereas in terms of exhaled air, it is large in quantity. The exhaled air contains water vapor. You can test it by keeping a mirror in front of you and blowing the air on the mirror. There would be small vapor being produced. That is the water being present in our exhaled air. To start with the topic, breathing is the word which is being used in the 14th century. The general meaning of breathing is inhalation and exhalation of air. Hope you remember in the first unit we have studied about the experiment of Lavoisier and Priestley. They have done a series of experiments related to the exchange of gases, that is air and photosynthesis, a mouse, a candle, and a mint leaf kept under a bell jar. Hope you remember that experiment. Lavoisier also done an experiment to show how the charcoal is being turned into carbon dioxide by burning it under a bell jar. He kept a charcoal is a coal, in a small bowl which is kept in a bell jar, and this is a trough or a container which contains water in it. And by doing such thing, he observed that the gas which is being produced is chalky acid. In the previous days, the chalky acid is being known as the carbon dioxide. He observed that the burning of the charcoal produces chalky acid, which is nothing but carbon dioxide. Hello friends, do you know the chemical formula for carbon dioxide? It is CO2. It means that it is made up of one atom of carbon and two atoms of oxygen combined together, and it is generally a gas in the gas form. So now we will look into the meaning of the word respiration. Hope you remember in the last class we have discussed about nutrition in human beings and how the food is being absorbed by villi in the small intestine. Look into the diagram of villi in the small intestines. These villi will absorb the food into the bloodstream. The food is generally glucose. So villi absorb the glucose from the food and pass it into the bloodstream. So the food that is glucose which is being passed into the bloodstream is now in the blood, and it is passed to the entire body with the help of the heart. That is why heart is known as the circulatory system. I am repeating it once again. The food which is the glucose which is being absorbed by the small intestines by the villi gets into the blood, and the blood is being passed to the entire body of the human being, which is being circulated to the entire body of the human being with the help of the heart. I am giving you this introduction from the first unit because you should understand that the glucose is being there in the bloodstream. Hope you have an idea that the glucose once enters the bloodstream is still in the format of food. So what is the role of respiration in this? This might be your question. So once the oxygen which is being entered into the body will go to the lungs first, and from the lungs the oxygen passes on to the blood. So in one instance you can know that the glucose is in the bloodstream, as well as now the oxygen has entered the bloodstream with the help of the lungs. So the glucose and the oxygen combine together and will help in breaking down the glucose. The oxygen will combine with the glucose and breaks it down and provides you the energy. So the meaning of respiration is combining of the glucose and oxygen in order to break it down and to produce energy. In the process, the byproducts which are being formed are carbon dioxide and water vapor. So we'll help you to understand the respiration with a small example. If you are burning a candle, what does the fire require to burn continuously? It is oxygen. Oxygen is required by the candle in order to burn continuously. So what happens when the fire is being on in the candle? What does the candle provide us? It provides us light and also fire. So fire is a form of heat energy. In short, we can say that the burning of the candle will provide the fire which uses the oxygen, and the heat energy is also produced. In the same way, the glucose which is being present in the bloodstream needs to be broken down. In other sense, it needs to be burned, and energy must be released from the glucose. While burning the candle, it is being observed that when it is being burning, heat energy is being released. In the same way, in the breakdown of the glucose in the bloodstream would happen only in the presence of oxygen. Oxygen helps in the breakdown of the glucose and provide us with the energy. If you burn a candle and the byproducts being the heat energy is being produced, and as well as carbon dioxide will also be produced. In the same way, when we are burning the glucose, it provides the body with the energy, and carbon dioxide is also being released, which is again thrown out of the human body by the process of exhalation. Hello friends, so the topic is about the pathway of air. Before getting into the topic, we will revise the meaning of respiration once again. Respiration is a process wherein the oxygen and the glucose are combined in order for the glucose to break down and release the energy which will be used by the body, and the byproducts of respiration are carbon dioxide which is exhaled by the human body, and water vapor is also released. To start with, the pathway of air. The air usually enters the human body through the nostrils. Nostrils are the two holes which are to the nose, from where the air is entered into the body. Nasal cavity is the space in the nose. Generally the nasal cavity is wet, and the surface of the nasal cavity is wet, as well as it has certain amount of air in it in order to remove the tiny dust particles from entering the lungs. In addition to this, the nasal cavity helps in bringing the outside temperature to the temperature which would be suitable to the human body. It means that if the outside temperature is hot, the nasal cavity try to reduce the outside temperature before allowing the air to enter the lungs. As well as if the outside temperature is cold, the nasal cavity increases the temperature before it gets into the lungs. So the average temperature of human being is 38 degrees. From the nasal cavity, the air will enter into the pharynx. Pharynx is the next stage in here. We will look into some other diagram. You can look at the pharynx. Pharynx is generally behind the mouth, and the pharynx has two openings. One is the esophagus, which is the digestive system which reaches the stomach. The other one is the windpipe over here. So the pharynx has two openings in it, and the pharynx is being divided by an epiglottis. This is a valve like a structure. Epiglottis you can observe in here. So in the diagram you can see the epiglottis. Generally when we swallow some food, the epiglottis will come down and closes the way to the windpipe. It will close down here, so that nothing of the food particles enters the larynx, enters the larynx or the windpipe, which will cause the choking. Choking means you will be having high amount of cough in order to expel the food particle if it enters into the windpipe. So any particles of food when it is being swallowed, the epiglottis will move and close the larynx. So next phase of the pathway of air is the larynx. So the food goes to the esophagus, whereas the air enters into the larynx. Larynx is the next part of pathway of air. Larynx is also known as the voice box of human beings. It helps in providing vibration and helps us to speak. The sound is basically produced with the help of the larynx. Next phase in the pathway of air is trachea. Trachea is the windpipe which connects the lungs. The trachea is further divided into two bronchi. There are two bronchi, one to the left lung, the other one to the right lung. The bronchi are branched into bronchioles. You can observe the branches of bronchi into branchioles. The last phase is alveolus. We will have a clear diagram of alveolus and bronchi. So these are the branches of bronchioles, and these are alveolus. Alveolus are air sac kind of a structure. When the oxygen enters the alveolus, it increases in size. So our lungs will expand. So the expansion of alveolus results in the expansion of lungs. Group of alveoli are known as alveolus, whereas single one is just an alveoli. So friends, I'll sum it up once again. The air enters the nostrils and enters the pharynx first, and then from the larynx it moves to the trachea, and then to the bronchi, which are two, there generally pair of bronchi, one to the left and one to the right, and from there to the branches bronchiolus, and from there to alveolus. Hope you understood till here. So look at the diagram here. Alveolus are generally millions in numbers, and each alveoli is being surrounded by, these are the nerves. These are the nerves. One is pulmonary artery, the other one is pulmonary venule. These are the nerves. So the alveolus will supply the oxygen to the nerves. The oxygen filled nerves are generally red in color, whereas the nerves without oxygen is blue in color. These nerves are known as oxygenated with high amount of oxygen in blood, whereas the other ones have no oxygen in it, so it is generally shown in a dark blue in color. You know that the nerves will contain the blood, so the alveolus will supply the oxygen to the nerves by the process of diffusion, and these red nerves will carry with the help of the pulmonary venule. These are pulmonary venule. These red nerves are pulmonary venule which are carried back to the heart. The heart will distribute all the oxygen throughout the entire body, and once the oxygen is used, it will become, the carbon dioxide will be released in the blood system because oxygen will be used, and the blood containing the carbon dioxide will come back to the lungs with the help of the pulmonary arteriole, and the carbon dioxide will be given to the alveolus, and again the same process, in the same process from the alveolus it will reach the bronchioles and to bronchis, and then to the trachea and to larynx and pharynx and nasal cavity, and the carbon dioxide would be exhaled. So this is the process wherein inhalation and exhalation of carbon dioxide and oxygen occurs in human body. So in this diagram you can observe the single alveoli. This is the pulmonary artery, that is the nerve which I have been mentioning, and this is the cell wall of the alveoli. It is generally one cell thicked so that the air passes on to the nervous system. You can observe in here that the carbon dioxide is being given by the nervous system to the alveoli, and the oxygen which enters the alveoli reaches the nervous system. Hello friends, today's topic is about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So before getting into the topic, we will revise the formula for cell respiration. So the respiration occurs by the process of combining oxygen with glucose, and the energy is being released. The byproducts being carbon dioxide and water. I guess this is the fourth or fifth time I have been telling you the meaning of the word respiration. So the ATP means it's a form of energy which is being stored in the cell. Energy is being released in cells. So the full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. So what is aerobic and anaerobic respiration? Aerobic respiration is nothing but wherein the energy is being released by combining glucose with oxygen. So the presence of oxygen in order to break down the glucose and to provide energy is called as aerobic respiration, whereas the anaerobic respiration is the reverse of the aerobic respiration, which means it occurs in the absence of oxygen. So the energy would be released without the presence of oxygen. So aerobic respiration requires oxygen, whereas anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. Hope you understood this. So friends, look at the formula for aerobic respiration. The formula for aerobic respiration is same as the formula for normal respiration, which is cellular respiration and aerobic respiration are almost one and the same. So the previous formula which you have looked at is same as the formula of aerobic respiration. We will look into the formula of anaerobic respiration. So friends, what do you think? The process of anaerobic respiration, does it takes place in human beings? The answer is yes. Sometimes the energy in human beings is also being released in the absence of oxygen. So when does the process occur? When does this happen? So friends, anaerobic respiration takes place in mammals, means the one which gives milk. So it takes place in mammals, some bacteria, as well as in yeast. Yeast is a kind of fungus. So your question might be, we are continuously taking in the oxygen, So why there would be a need for human beings to switch into anaerobic form of respiration? The answer to this would be, in our daily life, to perform the normal activities, generally our body would be using the aerobic form of respiration, wherein the oxygen is used to break down the glucose and release the energy. But for example, if you are doing rigorous exercise, or else if you are running to catch a bus, or else some kind of an exercise wherein you require a lot of energy in a running race, an athlete in a running race, he requires a lot of energy. So the oxygen which is being taken by the body is limited, and the energy, it won't be sufficient to release the energy. It means that if you run for 100 meters, during that time you require lot of oxygen in order to release the energy. But we feel that the oxygen supply would be limited in order to break down the glucose. This is the reason why we pant. It is pant or panting. Panting is in wherein you breathe heavily. You will be breathing heavily for a period of time. After a running race, your breath will be not in a normal phase. It would be very much speedy and in a faster manner. In simple words, it means that if you do any running kind of an activity or any rigorous exercise, your body needs more amount of oxygen. So in the initial stages you try to pant. Panting means increasing the number of breaths, breathing heavily. In such a situation, our body will not be able to take the required amount of oxygen to perform the aerobic kind of a respiration. So the body will switch to anaerobic form of respiration, wherein the body will release energy without the presence of oxygen. So friends, we will look into the formula of anaerobic form of respiration. So look into the formula here. Glucose has been broken down and the energy is being released. There is no oxygen in this equation, but apart from the energy, lactic acid will also be released in the muscles of the human being. What will be the effect of lactic acid on human being muscles? For example, if a person is been running from past 5 minutes, his body will switch to anaerobic form of respiration from aerobic form of respiration, and in the process the body will release lactic acid. Lactic acid would be released in his legs, and the result of which is the leg started to pain. It causes a muscle pain when the lactic acid is being released into the blood streams. Okay friends, look at the graph in here. This graph shows that a person performed exercises for an amount of 15 minutes. This on the x-axis, it's been showing the number of minutes the person performed the exercise. On the y-axis, it is been the amount of lactic acid which is been found in the blood. So a person performed exercises, rigorous exercise for an amount of 15 minutes, and the graph shows that the lactic acid in his blood has been increasing, and he stopped the exercise for after 15 minutes. Still it goes on increasing for an amount of 20 minutes. 2 in here means that 20 minutes. After 40 minutes he start to come down to a bit, but it takes around 120 minutes. So from 15 minutes to 120 minutes, it is approximately around 1.5 hours. So after 1.5 hours, the lactic acid levels will come down to the normal in the bloodstream. So the pain which the person has, he will be experiencing the pain during this period. After that, the pain will subside because of the decrease in the lactic acid in his blood. There are two things happening in this. One is the absence of oxygen. In case of the anaerobic respiration, lactic acid is produced in the human beings. If the anaerobic respiration happens in human beings, lactic acid is produced. If the anaerobic respiration happens in yeast, ethanol is being produced along with carbon dioxide. So we will look into the yeast experiment of anaerobic respiration in detail. Hope you know the meaning of the word fermentation. Fermentation is a process wherein the bacteria will act on the glucose and the resultant is the fermentation. Can you tell the daily life instance wherein fermentation takes place? It happens in the idli mix. We keep it overnight in order to ferment the idli mix. The same thing happens with the bakery products also. People generally mix yeast in the flour, yeast in maida, in order to ferment the maida, so that it will increase in its size, so that it would be softer in consistency. So yeast is a kind of a fungus. We will be using yeast and we will be providing glucose to yeast. Glucose is any kind of a food product. The fermentation happens. So yeast will act on glucose and the respiration taking place in yeast. In order to do the experiment, we will add glucose to yeast. Glucose means sugar solution is being added to yeast. And in order not to release any kind of a gases from this, we would be adding a thin layer of oil above the solution, so that nothing out of it will escape from the tube. And a channel is being providing to the test tube. The main reason for adding the oil above it is not in order to not allow the oxygen to get into the glucose. Otherwise, oxygen in this tube may be entering the glucose. And if the glucose solution has oxygen in it, in order to remove the oxygen from the glucose, we need to boil the glucose for a certain amount of time. This will take out the oxygen from the glucose solution. After certain amount of time, you can observe it, after certain amount of time, the fermentation process starts in the glucose and yeast solution, and the byproduct would be the carbon dioxide, which is going to be released, and the carbon dioxide will pass from this channel and will move into the test tube. In the test tube, we will be keeping the lime water. By the act of carbon dioxide and the lime water would turn into milky color. So we are looking at the same experiment but with a different diagram. So the experiment is with regards to the respiration of yeast in case of anaerobic form. Anaerobic respiration is wherein the energy is being released along with carbon dioxide in yeast. Instead of oil, in this experiment liquid paraffin is being used. Liquid paraffin is like a wax kind of a petroleum jelly or wax kind of a thing. Even this will be helpful in avoiding oxygen to get mixed with the yeast and glucose. And in this particular tube, a thermometer will also be placed in order to observe the increase in temperature. So when the glucose is broken down by the yeast, there would be energy which is being released, and the energy can be observed with the help of the thermometer. The temperature of the solution would increase, as well as the lime water will turn into milkish color because of the carbon dioxide being mixed with the lime water.